Hello again, my friends. It is your boy BQ. This is the Negative BQ YouTube channel. This is your TNA final resolution review for 2024. An hour or so ago, I just kind of finished an upload for the channel talking about some Tessa Blanchard rumors, all that stuff. And at the end, very confidently, I said I was logging off to record the Turning Point review. It is not Turning Point. Turning Point was last month. Final resolution, last show of the year for TNA. Solid show as they typically do with their TNA Plus shows. But the one thing that I want to point out to you guys, if you remember last year when Final Resolution was a thing, the chatter and the conversations within the fan base were that the matches were really random, just thrown together whatever matches, right? There was just like no story whatsoever. Because after Bound for Glory, I think they might have done an episode. I don't really remember, but they were doing stuff in Mexico and UK, I believe. But it was like once Bound for Glory is over, we weren't really getting episodic television because they typically phone it in after Bound for Glory, and they're doing best of shows and shit like this. So we just got nothing. And a lot of us were really upset and kind of complaining at the time because uh, we knew that the TNA rebrand was coming. And for a period of time there, for about 2 months after they announced it at Bound for Glory, through the rest of October, through November, the buzz for the TNA rebrand died down significantly. And then in December, they started picking up a little bit. But this year, they haven't phoned it in like that. I think we're getting best of episodes the next 2 weeks, meaning BQ's taking the weeks off because I don't watch those. I'll come up with some other content for you guys. But last year, just leading up to Turning Point, the matches are completely thrown together. This year, it's not to say that wasn't part of it as well, but there was at least a little bit of a build. It's kind of hard because you've got Turning Point, and then boom, 2 weeks later, you got Final Resolution. So it's kind of hard actually, to have some stories and all that. But uh, just the place that they're in this year, as opposed to last year, is pretty cool because fans are asking for them to take the final quarter of each year a little more seriously. Maybe it's a logistics thing. We don't exactly know, but we had a much better end to 2024. I wanted to record this a little bit earlier, but I was watching the NBA Cup game between the Bucks and the Thunder. The wife and I actually went to the semifinal game of the Bucks and the Hawks. So since it's out here in Vegas, so very very cool. But I had to finish watching that before I could get on here and talk Final Resolution with you, party people. But once again, I am your boy BQ, and we're gonna get into this one time for your mind. I did not watch the pre-show. I will watch it because I took a couple of vacation days, Thursday and Friday. I need to kill a little time, so I will watch the pre-show matches. I just didn't. I heard that they were pretty good though. I heard that Dango
These are spirit fingers, and these are gold.
and Leon Slater had a pretty good match. So I'm interested to see that. It looks like Dango beat him, put his feet on the ropes and won. It to me, it seems like they're trying to push back on Leon Slater a little bit because the goal was to get him to the X Division Championship. And I think they're gonna right the ship here a little bit. Maybe not right the ship, but I think they're gonna change course a little bit because with the Chris Bay injury, you have an opportunity now to make Ace Austin a major babyface. So I think he's going to be um even if he's not the guy to take the title off Moose, which I think he does need to be. I think he's gonna have a big program with him coming up, and we're gonna start elevating Ace Austin to the level that frankly he should be at already. There's a few guys in this company: Ace Austin, Chris Bay, of course, Trey Miguel. Um, there was one or two others. Should be a lot higher on the card than they are. But the problem is you keep bringing in people from, they used to wrestle in WWE or whatever the case, and every time they do that, these guys start to get knocked down a notch or two, and they just never got there. But that's kind of what I think. We're going to talk more Ace Austin here in a little bit, but that's kind of what I think they're doing. And Leon Slater took the loss here, and I think they want to get him there, but I think they want us to forget a little bit because I think that's a story they were going to try to tell was Leon Slater getting to that X Division championship. So yeah, he was the JDC was the winner there, which is odd because he just doesn't beat anybody. So that's why I just think it was kind of by design. But knowing TNA, they're going to have a rematch on the episode, and Leon Slater will get the win back. That's probably what I think. The other pre-show match featured Jonathan Gresham,
Inky, the octopus,
and the king of the Twitter block party, Frankie Kazarian.
It's a block party. I'm not playing with y'all, bro.
Frankie Kazarian tapped Jonathan Gresham out. Jonathan Gresham is on his way out the door. It's very, very clear. I was really excited when they brought him on, but it just seemed like they just couldn't find the spot for him. When he was the ROH Pure Champion and he was kind of doing some a few choice matches on the show, those got over very, very well. And then he signed with the company. It just we didn't get there. He did the program with Speedball Mike Bailey where it looked like he was kind of turning heel. Didn't quite happen. And then the octopus thing that we thought was going to be really, really good because they did some great video packages up to that ended up being very, very bad. And they even pulled the plug on it, which is crazy. It was so ill received, and they just never really got there with them, unfortunately. So, but that was the pre-show. Again, I am going to watch the matches. I just didn't get a chance initially. So, Frankie Kazarian, King of the Block Party. You ain't blocked by Frankie Kazarian on Twitter, you are not a real TNA fan. So, first match of the show here was for the X Division Championship.
the limit does not exist.
Your X Division champion Moose
Damn you, Moose.
took on big free agent Kushida.
He's probably the greatest free agent signing in the history of professional wrestling.
Or I should say big free agent signing, big game changer Kushida. We'll probably never see Kushida again. Big game-changing free agent signing. So this match here, much like what was the fucking show? Turning Point. Moose had a competitive match for the X Division Championship. I'm going to say the same thing that I said a couple weeks ago at Turning Point. I thought he should have beat Kushida fairly quickly. I, right now, at this stage, don't want to see Moose have competitive matches with midgets for the title. That's just not what I want from this story. I think you give it another month or so and you start building to where it's like, okay, this person can possibly beat him. That isn't the story they want to tell. They want to tell this story that Moose can wrestle and he's a great pro wrestler and can have X Division matches. That is the story that they want to tell. It's not the story I want them to tell or I want to receive from them. It's kind of like once upon a time, Rusev in WWE was very, very unbeatable, but it took matches that he was destroying people for a while until you finally get to, okay, can this be the guy to beat him? And you started getting really invested in is Jack Swagger the one that's going to win? That isn't what they're doing with Moose. It doesn't matter the size of the guy, the height, nothing. Doesn't matter their win-loss record. He's going to have a competitive match with Moose. So good old Tom Hannafin lets us know that Moose dispatches Kushida.
TNA Impact! Oh!
So I think that is the last we see of the Game Changer. He could be. I don't think he's doing the tapings. I think that's the last we've seen of him. So this was a relatively new soundbite that I had for him, but it sounds like it's going to be retired. So As I always do when it's time to retire a soundbite, I got to do it properly.
He's probably the greatest free agent signing in the history of professional wrestling.
After this, Gia Miller backstage.
Jesus Christ, that's perfect. Of course you're here right now.
And she was with First Class, and she didn't actually ask them a question. She just kind of said something to AJ Francis. It was a direct sentence, and then held the mic up to him. So he cut a little promo, and that's that. Next we got let's talk about the participants first. The Rascals.
In one word, would I use dope? Nope.
And this is a three-way tag. Their opponents were Salami, Calorie Ham, the bread machine.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
And PCO.
Smells like Bigfoot's dick.
So they ended up taking on Jake something by himself, Naked Jake.
You mind if I slip into something more comfortable?
Because Hammerstone is injured. Hammerstone is, I believe he said he's getting surgery. He's out for a little bit. He dropped a video on Twitter and Instagram. It sounded like he's expecting to be back in a few weeks. This isn't some long-term thing. But he got injured, I think, before the actual taping. I don't remember. I try not to rack my brain over these TNA timelines, but he was injured. I think he wrestled the last match on the taping injured. That's why it was a garbage match. Well, no, it wasn't a garbage match. He got himself disqualified. Anyway, who cares? He's hurt. They sent Naked Jake out there by himself. That was about it. Jake something has a babyface entrance. I have said that I'm kind of out on him. Me, just like a lot of other fans, have wanted to see him kind of get that push, but I'm out. I'm officially out on him. I'm into the tag team. I think that the tag team of him and Hammerstone can do something. I think they can be something. I think they can be a great heel team. But him as a single star, plain name, plain look, plain entrance. And I say plain entrance because he just comes out and he hits the people with the "What's my name?" It's a baby face entrance. He interacts with the crowd. Like, go to AEW if you want to do that shit. But if you want to be a heel, be a heel. Not Tom Hannafin, but Matt Raywall says, all these teams have built momentum over the last several months. Well, Hammerstone and Jake have no momentum. PCO and Sammy Callahan teamed together twice. And then I think the Rascals, I guess they won a couple matches, but trying to BS us with momentum talk. This show here, I was fairly certain who was going to win all the matches. I talk about the predictability a lot. I'm part of a Facebook group where they will list all the matches for all the pay-per-views, AEW, whatever. And we're assigned points with who we think is going to win, and all this shit. So, I mean, I won a AEW one the other day for All In, and I don't even watch the freaking show. I'm pretty good with results and kind of having an idea where matches are going to go. I predicted most of these correctly, but yeah, they released one I don't remember. It wasn't Turning Point. It was it might have been the show before Bound for Glory, but our admin just released the standings, and I was number one in that one. So I usually have a pretty good idea who's winning and losing matches. This show was real, like you just going up and down the card, and you just know who's winning everything. There's the only match that I said to my peers that was unpredictable was Rosemary and Jordan Grace, because I knew neither of them were going to lose. This one here, though, I would have put money that PCO and Salami Calorie Ham were going to win this thing. I would have put money on it. But the Rascals ended up winning. And because PCO and Sammy Callahan didn't win, they had to do this long, show of respect after the match. Like Sammy had to go, "What's up?" Like because they had to keep these motherfuckers in the ring so that they can throw the 23 up there. So 23, I think January 23 is the live day for TNA. I've been warning you guys. Mike Gilbert's been doing the same. Do not get your hopes up for this. TNA does not do the surprise very well. They they have done a lot of surprises with people currently on the roster. So let's hope that we get like a nice debut. I just really don't think that's where they are going with it. After this match, they show clips from some upcoming C movie that apparently has no storyline because there was no story in what they showed. It was just a bunch of random scenes from a movie. You didn't know what the movie was about. So yeah, I can't wait for them to release that one C movie that Killer Kelly was in. That should be very, very interesting. So after this, we had Trent. I'll have a number 7.
I don't want lunch. I want breakfast.
Clearly, I wasn't talking to you, big titties. You cherub-looking motherfucker.
I forget that that's a longer sound drop. And his opponent, Ace Austin.
Is this your card?
Yes, oh my gosh.
It's not, is it?
No,
I like this match. I was into this match. They turned Trent 7. Excuse me, Trent. I'll have a number 7. They turned him heel whenever Mike Bailey left, and I'm not going to say we're getting robbed of it, but I would have liked to see the heel run because it looks like he's gone too. I had some interest in seeing what the heel run was going to be. He was kind of a net positive. I mean, a net negative, excuse me, I should say, for TNA. They announced him as a signing at the top of the year. People were like, "Oh, like they were just to the moon about this," and he really did nothing. So I had some interest in this heel turn. Of course, Mike Bailey didn't put him over, so that's probably two things. Number one, Mike Bailey didn't want to lose, and number two, they probably knew Trent. I'll have a number 7 was out of here. So, but I really like the match. Trent 7 used the Chris Bay story to get some heat. The Chris Bay injury, the unfortunate injury, he used it to get heat. He's taking the shirt, wiping it between his legs. It's kind of like kind of what I wish Matt Raywall would do on commentary. But Flip Flop and Matt, he's we're with you, buddy, and then he's a heel the next match. I kind of wished on commentary he would lean into it. Trent 7 is the only person. This is an unfortunate injury, but I mean, Trent 7 is the only person in the company to lean into getting heat for it. And I thought Ace Austin looked very good in this match. And I just told myself, hey, Ace can be a huge, huge babyface going forward. When Ace signed with the company, you would have never in a million years be like, this guy's going to get a pop one day. This guy's going to be over as a good guy. You would have never thought that. And, fast forward to now, because he was a great heel. Fast forward to now, he has the opportunity to be a very big babyface. Knowing TNA, he will wrestle for the TNA X Division Championship at Genesis. I wouldn't do that because, I mean, clearly their vision for the Moose storyline is not the same as mine. Okay, because I'm saying all these matches that you guys enjoy, I want them to be squash matches. I want a completely different story than what they want to do with Moose, and I don't think that they're going to do a slow burn on this. I think we're going to get these two fuckers wrestling almost immediately, and I think that's kind of a mistake if that is the case. One point, Trent, I'll have a number 7, hit a burning hammer on the ring apron, which I thought was a really nice spot, and then he rolls Ace Austin in the ring. If this were AEW, he'd kick out, right? Ace Austin got his foot on the rope, and that is the kind of psychology that TNA has. Everything doesn't have to be kicking out of big moves. They should utilize the ropes a lot more. So we're gonna retire Trent. I'll have a number 7 and his soundbite.
I don't want lunch. I want breakfast.
Clearly, I wasn't talking to you, big titties. You cherub-looking motherfucker.
Knockouts match was up next. Knockouts action. Matt Raywall said, "This one's personal." Is it? Rosemary and Jordan Grace? Is it personal? Or are they just having a match with minimal story? Anyway, Rosemary.
What's that? Is that Rosemary? Think? What the hell is she doing?
And Jordan Grace.
Get me out of here!
Now, this was a match that I did not think was going to have a finish. Rosemary, they're heating up for the Knockouts Championship. Telegraph and Tom has told you at the beginning that Jordan Grace has lost 3 matches in a row. I don't think she's going to lose 4. We know she's going to lose her next feud. So I don't think they're just going to beat Jordan on the way out the door like they did Deonna Purrazzo and some of these other girls. Because that, I said this about with Deonna, like that diminishes what they did a little bit. It diminishes their title run when you just start beating them all the time. Jordan's losses have made some sense. So that's fine. But I just didn't see either of these girls taking a loss. So they had a match for a little while. And it, of course, comes to a no contest because we have a hooded figure that comes in, and it is the returning Tessa Blanchard.
Oh, I don't like this. That if the Nuggets don't win this.
I've already done a podcast talking about Tessa Blanchard. I like Tessa. I am a Tessa Blanchard fan. Some things were said or not said in the past. At the end of the day, nobody actually knows. The fans certainly don't know. So you can have your opinion about her. If you don't like her, that's fine, because there's nothing I'm going to say. There's nothing she's going to say. There's nothing TNA is going to say at this point. If you don't like Tessa, you don't like Tessa. I'm watching a TV show where Masha Slamovich is your world champion. Jordan Grace is leaving. And I'm looking at this roster saying, who the hell is she going to have a feud with? Jody Threat? I understand she's got a program with Rosemary coming up. She's not going to beat Rosemary. Okay? I mean, Rosemary's not going to beat her. Excuse me. And then after that, who's she getting? Danny Luna? Now, the Marks are okay with that. But we need someone to step in with some star power that can have a real program with Masha. We want what's better for the show. I'm fine with Tessa Blanchard being there. I am a fan of hers. If she said some insensitive things in the past, I'm not okay with that. I'm not a supporter of that. But I'm not. I am 45 years old. You think I'm going to cancel somebody? That is not going to happen. All right. I don't know what to tell you guys. You can either like her or not. You can choose to enjoy what she brings to the table. It does not mean you have to support things that were potentially said that we don't even know are fact. All right. But anyway, Tessa Blanchard hits her with the buzzsaw DDT. Tom Hannafin should have known who it was immediately. He didn't, because he never does. And we got a no contest. So we're going to get some Tessa and Jordan very, very soon, and it should be very, very good. Oh! After this, Tom Hannafin lets us know Gia Miller has been dispatched. So was dispatched what Moose did to Game Changer Kushida in the opening match? Or is it when you send Gia Miller to go find Tessa Blanchard? Tom. Tessa says, this is my company. She pie faces Gia Miller. This is what I would do. They're not going to do this. This is what I would do. Tessa should continue to bully Gia Miller from week to week, to the point that Gia Miller, in an attempt to stand up for herself, challenges her to a match. Because Gia can wrestle. Gia is a wrestler. They have a match. Tessa beats the shit out of her. Gia gets a couple hope spots. She would be over huge as a babyface. Huge. and Tessa would get over big time as a heel. I mean, she's already over as a heel in real life and kayfabe. But if you want to, from a storyline standpoint, you want things to be more interesting on screen, I would have her beat the shit out of Gia. They're probably not going to do that. TNA is not. I love TNA. They are not a company that takes a lot of chances. They do take some chances here and there, but if I were calling the shots, I would take a lot more than they do. There's a lot of things that they play very, very safe, very, very cookie cutter. What do we have after this? This is the four-way number one contender match. Features Mike Santana.
That's nasty.
Josh Alexander.
I don't want to play with you anymore.
Steve Macklin. And Joe Hendry.
Believe that.
I told you guys I do have a shorter sound drop for Joe Hendry coming. Not Joe Hendry, but for Steve Macklin. So we will get there. We don't need all these sound bites to be super, super long. And on commentary, we have King of the Rah Rah and star of the hit TV show Vinyl Obsession, Eric Young.
I think those times are like the rah rah speeches and like getting everybody up, because like nobody really get motivated off that stuff anyway.
And this match is no disqualification. Anything goes. So they have a four-way match. There's not a lot I can say about this. Joe Hendry won. We knew he was going to win. I said when he said he was going to start from the bottom that the fool was going to wrestle one match, be number one contender, and then wrestle for the championship and win. So that's starting at the bottom for TNA. Someone tell me, well, he did have a match with Ryan Nemeth. That was more of a storyline type of feud from Fallout of Bound for Glory. I didn't really take that as part of, hey, I'm starting from the bottom. The story was that the turkey suit match was starting from the bottom. We just didn't know the turkey suit match winner was going to have a guaranteed spot in this four-way. I mean, what if John Schuyler won that match? Would he have been in this? So we knew that we knew he was going to win. There's no absolutely no freaking doubt about that. We knew what the Genesis match was going to be. And then at the end of the night, after the end of the match, they have the nerve. He's going to wrestle whoever wins tonight's main event. Like, we know also Nick Nemeth is winning in the main event. The only story in the last couple months has been Joe Hendry and Nick Nemeth colliding for the world title. So with that being said, I just wish after Bound for Glory, they just wouldn't have Nick Nemeth defend the title. Because if this were real, it's not, but if this were real, and your marquee match should include Nick Nemeth in the main event, you wouldn't put him in position to lose. The I'm a champion, I have to defend my title every month, every 30 days is bullshit. PCO has defended it once in Slammiversary. All right. So that's all bullshit. And it was against Shira. It was Shira. Yeah, twice. It was Rhino and Shira. So he has 2 freaking title defenses since Slammiversary. Okay. If Nick Nemeth is your guy, give him the Hulk Hogan treatment. Put him in a tag team match for this fucking thing. You know what I mean? If we had stories completely independent of each other at the world title and the number one contender, and both matches you had no clue who was going to win, I think that would be awesome. But wrestling just doesn't do that. I'm always asking for wrestling to give me things that I used to grow up watching, and maybe that is very unrealistic of me. But you always know where stuff is going. Santana looked good here. I've said it every week for the last 2 months, 3 months. They want Santana to be the champion. I'm very certain that we're going to be sitting here talking let's just say March or April, no later than April. Santana will be your champion. No, I'm going to give it to to Rebellion. I think that's going to be the main event, and I think he's going to win. So we'll see if I'm wrong or right regarding that. So next on the card, we had a very unnecessary falls count anywhere match. No DQ, no rules, anything goes. Tasha Steelz.
We've got a badass over here.
And she's accompanied by Alicia Edwards.
Hey, baby.
Taking on the TNA Knockouts champion, Masha Slamovich.
Meet Fran Stalinaskevich Davidovitsky.
And before the match starts, guess who the fuck's music plays?
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
It's Santino, and he gets on the mic and says, Alicia, and I'm speaking in perfect English here. I'm not going to be like, Alicia Edwards. He's saying, Alicia, you were thrown out of the match at Turning Point. You came back. Blah, blah, blah. Bans her from ringside. So at Turning Point, there was a garbage match between Josh Alexander and Steve Macklin. And what was the stipulation? I just think it was no disqualification. And they banned the Northern Armory from ringside. The match has no rules. How can you ban somebody? They did it here again. No rules. Anything goes. But we are banning Alicia Edwards from ringside. Even Matt Raywall called it out. That is the point of this, all the dumb shit he says. He called it out, saying that is the point of not having rules. Here's what I don't like about Masha's title reign so far. And it's not to say my opinion can't change in a week from now. She is becoming the let's have a garbage match champion. She's becoming I will challenge you to a garbage match champion. She challenges I mean, why would a champion challenge someone in a match where she would, in a sense, have the disadvantage? So we're a fighting champion in TNA. She challenges Alicia Edwards to a no DQ garbage match. And then she challenges Tasha Steelz to a falls count anywhere match. They're just having stipulations just to have it. We're getting back to the street fights and no DQs and all this shit happening every week. We had 2 matches in a row here with no rules. All right. Keep that in mind. 2 matches with no rules. Matches in Atlanta. It's good to have Tasha Steelz in a featured role. I think Tasha Steelz is excellent. They had a good match. You know, they wrestled in the crowd. They did all this stuff. And, you know, right after I said this last week, but after I commended TNA for Masha winning matches without a finisher, now she's winning with the package pile driver. Tom Hannafin says, oh, she wins all the time with it. She's won like twice with it, Tom Hannafin. She's won many matches with the, 2. 2 phony Tom. But she hits the package pile driver on the outside. Santino at one point was even said we're going to put security. No security came out. No, I think there was some around the ring. Security comes out to keep the system out of the match so that we can have a clean finish. All right? No DQ. Anything goes. We've banned Alicia Edwards. He's put security around the ring to ensure a clean finish. If you want a clean finish, have a regular match. Does that make sense to you? Am I making sense? You're taking a no rules match, adding all these rules to ensure that has a clean finish. Just have a normal one fall to the finish match, and you're good. Anyway, Masha Slamovich obviously wins. Next match is a tables match. No disqualification. Anything goes.
Get that garbage out of here!
3 garbage matches in a row. You know what? I'm not going to say 3 garbage matches in a row because the 4-way for the number 1 contender was not a garbage match, but we had 3 matches in a row. Ooh, I'm struggling here, folks. We had 3 matches in a row with no rules. All right, we are turning into AEW.
Get that garbage out of here!
So in this tables match, we had the Hardys
Wonderful!
against the System, Eddie Edwards.
All right, son, I'm gonna need those 2 hams back.
I don't have any hams.
Lift up your shirt, son.
And Brian Myers.
What is she gonna think when she comes in here? Oh, look, he's got a billion toys.
Towards the end of this match, they start fighting in the crowd. They went further away from the ring than Masha and Tasha did in the Falls Count Anywhere match. Because Phony Tom was like, this match could end up in the streets of Atlanta. They didn't go any further than like 30 feet away from the ring. The tables match here, they did. And Matt Hardy left at one point, I think, and came through the double doors from the snack bar. Probably went and got himself a snack. Eddie Edwards was probably very jealous of that. It was hard for me to get into this. The Hardys were super, super over. They're always really, really over. And I think TNA deserves credit for that. Obviously, in WWE, they were like big time over. But when the Hardys left and they went to TNA, they were pretty popular, but they were still wrestling in front of 200 people in the crowd. Like TNA was really falling off at that point. Not when they got there, but I mean, towards the end of their run, it was falling off. They had the broken gimmick. People laughed at it at first because they can't make a decision for themselves. And then they realized, oh, this is actually pretty good. It got very, very popular. And that was the last thing the Hardys did in TNA. And because of that broken gimmick, I think when they went to Ring of Honor briefly, they went back to WWE. I think part of the reception for them was, I think TNA deserves some credit for that, for what they did previously with them doing the broken stuff, So what I'm saying is they're over, and the people go crazy for them. But their run in TNA, I think, deserves some credit for that. Their previous runs. So we knew the Hardys were going to win here. It looks like they're getting ready to feed them the Rascals next. We watched these fucking teams, the System and the Hardys, wrestle, I think, 4 times in 2024. The crazy thing is the System never beat them. Not one time. I don't think. I can't think of a scenario where they won. I'm pretty sure the Hardys won every single match, one way or another. It could have been disqualification, whatever. The System did not beat these guys. Yet we just kept getting them over and over and over. Like, it's some crazy booking to be able to justify giving us the same match over and over, even though the result is always the same. You guys know I had a problem with this match because they had their Tom Hannafin jerk-off contractually obligated rematch on TV a couple weeks ago. They got themselves disqualified. They lost. Alicia got them disqualified. End of the line. No. We get Santino coming out and says, I'm making a tag team title match for Final Resolution, and it's a tables match. So the System actually got rewarded with this despite fucking losing and never beating these motherfuckers to begin with. So yeah, the Hardys win. We knew that was going to happen. And then the main event of this show is Matt Riddle had to let us know, had to remind us, these are 2 of the best professional wrestlers in the world. Like, I'm so sick of hearing that every single match. Because that's everybody's gimmick, is to be a good wrestler, good little hand. But we had AJ Francis.
But I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real.
Against the TNA World Champion Nick Nemeth.
I've been talking to people walking here. We've been talking about next year, and I'm sitting there saying, I'm not going to be here.
They actually had the goof ref instead of Daniel Spencer. They had the goof ref officiate this match.
Are you one of those challenge kids?
The doctor said I could be on the spectrum.
I don't know what that is, but get off it pronto.
This was a good main event, folks. People ride on AJ Francis constantly online. They don't even know the work he's doing in TNA. They don't have a clue. They're still stuck on the flop dollar stuff and everything he did there. He said, I'm the best heel in wrestling right now. I don't know if he's the best heel, but, I saw one page, oh, he's not even top 25. I was like, but I get in there, and I'm like, is he not? You don't have to agree that he's number one, okay? But how many actual heels do we have in wrestling right now? There's seriously a handful. Even TNA only really has two: Alicia Edwards and AJ Francis. And I mean, as far as they go out there and they just kind of get some heat, AJ had a good match here. He kicked out of the danger zone, which I don't know if that's happened. I think Joe Hendry kicked out of it at one point. That's kind of a big deal, you know. The kick to kick out of Nick Nemeth's finisher. He went for a moonsault at one point and he missed. It was a pretty sweet looking moonsault for a guy of his size. To be able to do that is pretty impressive. And again, everyone's so stuck on the flop dollar stuff. This is he has done some of the best work in the company this year. I hope that they sign him. I hope they bring him back. I don't want him to go out like this. Not this version of first class, not economy class. I don't know if we're going to get Rich Swann back. I hope so. I don't want him to go out like this, though. I doubt that they promised them a world championship run, but they did probably challenge. They did promise him a world championship match, which is why we got it here at the very, very end of the year. Why he didn't do anything to really deserve the match. That was even part of the story. But Nick Nemeth wins. I thought the finish was excellent. I thought the way they laid that out, where it took a super kick and it took a famouser and it took the danger zone to beat him. Like, they're really building this guy up as a good monster heel. It would suck if he was gone next month and I had to retire the soundbite. I do have another soundbite that I think I'm going to use for him and do the not real for Casey Navarro. So we'll see. I'm debating between Moose and AJ Francis for this particular soundbite. Casey Navarro attacks him at the end of the match. Got to have a post-match beatdown. And I wrote in my notes, we're going to get Joe Hendry's music. Now, we didn't get Joe Hendry's music, but we got Joe Hendry. And I'm telling you right now that they keep forcing him onto the show. You can tell you're watching these shows, and it's like, how many times can we get Joe Hendry out there? How many times can we send him out there? That is always the vibe I get. I really thought him at the end of the show was unnecessary. Just because it's like so painting by numbers. That's why. Just fuck it. Go off the air with Nick Nemeth. We don't need the post-match beatdown so we can get the contender to run out. I really wasn't feeling it. But it was a good main event. It was a good show. And we're going to get a break for a couple weeks. So they're going to be doing best of. Only the hardest of hardcore are going to watch those. I'm not. It is an opportunity for me to take time off, maybe do some end of the year type podcasts or whatever. So I won't be watching those. I will not be reviewing them. But we will try to talk about some news as it happens. So if I'm able to, there's a little bit more information I'm trying to get you guys regarding the venues for Slammiversary and Rebellion. We'll probably talk about some of the departures. So I think Rhino is going to be out of here. I'm going to have to retire the convenience store machine, aka the Vietnam War machine soundbite. Let me see if I got that here. We might as well retire it right now. All right, Rhino, the convenience store machine, aka the Vietnam War machine.
Tell us about the war. Any one of them.
So we may continue to talk about some of the people departing, Jonathan Gresham being one of them. We got to retire that one as well. I don't think that one's official yet, though. Trent, I'll have a number 7. Game Changer Kushida. There's probably going to be more. But we will have some content here on the channel. We just will not be reviewing the show. That's going to do it for me, folks. Thanks for talking Final Resolution with me. I'm your boy BQ, and I'll kick out, and I'm out. Peace.